Let's move on, though, Dave. Let's get into
Thank
some
you.
football. We got some draft stuff going on, and I kind of split this into some conversations. Todd McShay came out with his mock draft. My mock draft is coming out on Monday. For those of you out there, I will say it again. I said at the beginning of that video. Reason why it wasn't this Monday is because mock drafts go a week early to the patrons. So the patrons get it this week. $10 and above, gold and platinum members. On Monday, everyone will get it.
Makes
so
sense.
you'll see my thoughts on the draft following the week 17 on Monday. But Dave, there were some interesting things here. First thing I want to hit, quarterbacks. Because yet again, we're seeing a rise in quarterbacks. Like we had talked earlier this week, you said that the growing just thought is that 5 quarterbacks will go in the first round. I wanted to list where Todd McShay has his, kind of talk about what we think. He's got Trevor Lawrence at number 1 to Jacksonville.
Yep.
Duh, no brainer. He's got Zach Wilson at 4 to the Falcons. Then he has Trey Lance at number 19 going.
He jumped someone.
Fields at 15. I thought I flipped him. Fields at 15 going to the Patois. Lance at 19 going to the Washington football team. And then you got Mac Jones going at 21 to the Colts. There's a couple of things I know I want to hit here, but the first one, Dave, we knew that most people are starting to think of Wilson as the second quarterback over Justin Fields. In your mind, what would you say if you like seeing Justin Fields all the way at 15? Meaning teams like the Lions, teams like the Broncos people have linked, the Panthers, maybe the Cowboys because of Jerry Jones, like all these teams in the top 10 that could go quarterback, passing on a quarterback, and him falling all the way to the Patriots. I kind of see that as I don't know if he falls that far.
I tend to agree with you on that front because there are so many teams looking for that future quarterback to take them, to the promised land. But at the same time, you do have to admit that there are a lot of quarterbacks being moved around this offseason. Like we expect to see about 5 starting caliber quarterbacks, even some guys who may get a chance to start being free agents or being cut by their teams or being tradable. So there are just a lot of names floating in the air. So I think maybe it's playing it safe, thinking that some of those teams are going to land someone like a Matt Stafford. Maybe somebody will try to pick up the final year of Phillip Rivers' NFL career. Maybe Cam Newton starts somewhere. Maybe famous Jameis is going. There are enough guys out there who could be available. Jimmy Garoppolo is someone who we know the injury's there, but we do know that someone's probably still pretty high on him. Maybe someone by the name of Belichick. I don't know, just tossing out names here, but I think that's the balance that you have to weigh out. Like who wants a young kid to grow with and bring up a franchise, or who's looking for an established Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, Phillip Rivers, Cam Newton, even kind of guy who can step into a team and you would hope have a leg up on the competition, be able to just hit the ground running. So
yeah.
Am I surprised? Yes, but at the same time, I'm like, does he know something that we don't about these teams? Like, is there a situation where he's already heard rumors coming out of the front offices being like, we're looking to develop or we're looking to compete? Because I think some of those teams are maybe a quarterback away from competing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they chose the development route to also.
Well, and my first thought from this, before I read what Todd McShay put,
I've not read anything, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm going to read the first part because it kind of debunks a little bit.
Great.
To where
Glad you let me go on a 3-minute rant.
Not debunking what you said, just debunking of why did he go all the way to 15, to where this is kind of my thought of, and this thought of a mock draft has changed, where before last year, I was always on the side of, you know what, do a mock draft, don't do trades because you get too far away from things and
you get disattached from reality.
Like a team wants to come in, a fan wants to come in and know, okay, my team's picking it too. What are we going to do?
Thank you.
But the more I thought about it, and like with the NFL, quarterbacks are the reason for this, is in my mind, I was like, there's no way Fields falls to 15. Because somebody, if he falls far enough, like if he gets past 5, somebody's trading up for him. There will be someone. Now, will it be the Patriots? Probably not. Patriots don't trade up. Maybe that changes.
A lot of this
year.
will depend on how he does come the championship.
Monday. Yeah, come Monday. We got the big championship game. And Todd McShay does say, okay, it's time. And what a terrific outcome this would be for Coach Bill Belichick. Fields fell to number 15 here because we aren't doing trades in this mock. There's little chance he makes it this far down the board, especially after a 6-touchdown performance in the Sugar Bowl quieted the big game concerns. Someone will move up to get him. And like for me, that's why in my mock I did trades, because I'm like, you know what, someone's going to move up for these young guys. But like you were saying, who's going to be that team? Because to me, I do have a feeling, I will say it again, of course, he has Penny Sewell at 2 because there were no trades. I think the Jets are either going to do that or they're trading the pick, one of the two. Yet again, we got to see who they hire as their new. Like that's the thing. The Jets have to do hirings. The Lions have to do hirings. Even the Falcons have to do hirings. Like once they get their some for them GMs, some of them are coaches. Once that's in place, it's like, okay, then we can kind of decide, are they going to move on from a Stafford? Because, like, for me, I look at it and I go, if I'm the Broncos, I'm not taking a quarterback because although people want to jump on the Drew Lock hate train,
I'm not there yet.
I think Drew Lock is good enough to be their quarterback next year. Let a healthy Von Miller and a healthy Bradley Chubb come back next year to see what that does.
When they're not like half staffed. I'm with you on that one. I 100% agree.
The Cowboys would be stupid to do it. Jerry Jones just pay fucking Dak Prescott.
I think you heard what came out though. Is he like Dak holds the cards here?
Yeah.
If Dak wants to play with us, he can. But if Dak wants to go somewhere else, he's gonna go somewhere. We can't stop that.
Wasn't it about years? Dak wants a shorter deal.
Yeah. Correct. So he can sign for the next cap. Basically, it's the whole
money.
LeBron James kind of shenanigans of why LeBron's never going to sign a long max deal because he can re-up max deal over and over and over and always be at the top and not get stuck in a situation where you're underpaid even though you're the best player.
Yeah. The 49ers, too, they're a team to me where if they are going to get a new quarterback, it is either going to be Matthew Stafford or Matt Ryan in my mind. Probably Matt Stafford. Because both of those quarterbacks would fit with Shanahan.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm throwing Matt Ryan out there is because they had success before. Maybe Kyle Shanahan's like, yo, let's go get him. I know the cap is a problem with his contract, but we want to win. We were a year away from a Super Bowl before injuries riddled us this season. I don't like Fields. I don't think goes that far. The only team I didn't mention the top were the Panthers. And that's because if Fields is there at 8, I think they may take him.
You think Fields is a better player or a better future than 2 gloves?
Well, yes.
That's all they have to ask themselves.
Yes.
If you feel like Fields can be a better quarterback in X years than Teddy Bridgewater, then you absolutely should take him.
It would be a hard decision.
I don't think you have to wait on it.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it's a very clear one that like if I think that Fields could be a better quarterback than Teddy Two Gloves, I'm pulling the trigger. I've got a young running back who is getting paid and unfortunately got his first injury in his career, like the worst possible time. But outside of that, go get your guy. Teddy Bridgewater, I feel bad because he's stuck in no man's land. He proved himself on the Saints. He looked great. He got put on a team with the Panthers this year who lost their star player. He's out there playing, with Mike Davis. No disrespect to Mike Davis, but I'll disrespect Mike Davis compared to Christian
McCaffrey. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So he was put in a very tough situation where the entire offense was pivoted off of the scheduled plan of Christian McCaffrey to, we have to make this work somehow without him. He's not bad, but he's also not great. Maybe I think I would take Fields over him.
Yeah. Also, Eric says I would go Deshaun Watson. Forget the rest. I forgot we talked about it yesterday. He may be in the running for tradable QBs.
That one we'll have to wait and see because we heard Deshaun could be demanding his way out. but we don't know. The conversation's going to happen.
Dave, I will say, Lombardi on, I think it was yesterday's Ham at Dom, said the same thing you said, where they asked him about the Mike Casario GM hire, and he said the same thing you said of like, he's going to have a conversation with Deshaun Watson to be like, hey, calm down. Like, I want to help this team win. We don't have to trade you. Like, the culture is good. I want to set up a good culture.
Exactly.
My only problem with the Panthers is I feel like Justin Fields would be a good pick because if he ends up being better than Teddy, you win. You got the better quarterback. Also, let's say in 2 years, because there is a potential out for Teddy, if he sits behind him for a year and you go, dude, Teddy's the guy, no way Fields is beating him, you could still trade Fields and get a good recoup for him because he's a top prospect at that point. But the problem is if Kyle Pitts is there or Micah Parsons falls that far, that is going to be a hard choice for me of, do we go with the future because we might be a little iffy on Teddy, or go get Teddy a pass catcher in Pitts, or go get us a linebacker who could be the next kind of like leader of our linebacker, like Luke Kuechly.
Our next Luke Kuechly.
Basically.
First off, comment section, you can go ahead and address that.
What, with the Houston
Eric
culture?
says the culture is not good in Houston.
It's not good, but I mean, it all starts with the GM. Like, it all starts with Casario and who he hires. Like, you can't say, like, Casario coming in, you can't say, oh, the culture shit, it's your fault. He wasn't even there. Like, it's his job to...
Like, you can't say that, like, the culture's good, stay.
No,
like,
but it's not a culture is good.
Around you.
Bingo.
That's what you have to tell. You have to sell him on.
That's what
we're going to make this happen. You and me are going to sit down, and we're going to make this work between us. So
kind of form that alliance between you and Watson. Say, we are going to make this a better place, and I can't make... I would harp on I can't make this a better place without you. Make him feel important. But at the same time, would something like that work... Or would Watson just be like, yeah, I fucking heard that before. Fucking show me.
That'd be tough to know. But back to your actual point.
It would just be depending on what's there, too, for the Panthers.
I don't think that you can say, oh, well, even if Haskins isn't... I'm sorry, Fields. I was going to Haskins.
Yeah.
Even if Fields isn't great, you could always look to trade him. Look what happened to Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, true.
That is, I think that's fresh in people's minds of like...
I think they're different. They're different, though.
I agree completely. I've seen nothing on paper that Fields has attitude issues. I've seen nothing on paper that he's not a grinder. He's not working for his game. He's not always looking to improve it.
Yeah.
Just because they're both Ohio State prospects, players, alumni now, I don't think they're the same person. I think they are dramatically different, gifted athletes, and they definitely play differently. So I'm not concerned about that, but I would asterisk the idea that their worst case scenario, you can always look to trade him as a former second overall pick, third overall pick, whatever he'll end up going as, kind of a situation. But I do like the idea of adding in someone as talented as Pitts. I will almost never pass up on Pitts, Ricky. I think he's probably number, what do you say, like 6, 5 on people's?
He would be 6 or 7 at the lowest.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next great fucking pass catching tight end. Yeah. He does it all, but he's the next pass guard.
There was just like, yet again, and when my mock comes out on Monday, there were several times where I was like, Pitts could go here. But yet again, it's a decision between Pitts and something else.
5, you go at 6.
Yet again, trades are going to fuck up this too, where guys like trades for quarterbacks, Pitts, Parsons, and Pitts and Parsons will be the two guys that are heavily affected from trades for quarterbacks early on. The only thing with quarterbacks I wanted to mention was the 5th quarterback, because it's not the debate that there will be 5. And in his Colts thing, he says, a 5th quarterback, ! I think there will be 5 quarterbacks. The only question is, I don't agree with you, Todd McShay. Colts are not drafting a quarterback. If anything, I am doubling down. Maybe it's Pat McAfee influencing my decision. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a Colt next year. I think him and Frank Wright are going to be reunited. And I think they're going to go somewhere else. They're going to either go with a weapon. They're going to go someone on the defense, maybe a cornerback. I think they go away from quarterback. Then there's the other part. He has Mac Jones as the 5th quarterback. Maybe it's because out of all the quarterbacks, Mac Jones is the last one I'm getting to. But right now, I like Kyle Trask more than I like Mac Jones.
I think the overwhelming amount of tape on Trask might be hurting him. I think that's the situation is going, was this year a fluke? Was this just a circumstantial great year for him? And he's not actually this player who's going to put up 1 billion yards and a great touchdown interception ratio.
Jake, how about I don't like either of them?
You're totally allowed to not like either of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think out of the two, I think Trask is the more hittable quarterback prospect than Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones, maybe this is because people have called him a game manager. I think the thing with Mac Jones is his is going to be more predicated on who drafts him. If the Colts draft him, maybe that's better because that'd be a good situation for him. To where he's already got Jonathan Taylor behind him. He's got wide receivers. Pittman is looking like someone who could be special in the future years, especially if the Colts don't re-sign T.Y. Hilton and he walks for some reason. I expect them to bring T.Y. back, though.
I'd hope so. But it's tough because I think that Mac Jones has the floor. I think he's got the higher floor. It's like, worst case scenario, he's an above average. I'll say it. I'll fucking say it about him. Game manager. The title that he hates. Which I respect him for commenting on that in the first place. But I think that he's got the higher floor, and Trask looks like someone who, boom or bust. He's got that like Matty Ice.
Yeah.
Gotta go all the way over to the Falcons. Matty Ice to him of like, this guy can bomb the ball out. You know what? I take that back. Going to the other bird, Joe Flacco. He's got the Joe Flacco-ness. He's got the fuck it, I can throw it. But should he at all times? Question mark. I think that's who, and tell me if I'm right or wrong here, because I've only watched about a game of his, and then I think I watched one game, and then I watched highlights for the rest of his games.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't fucking love college football. Yeah. Like, unless it's big games. So, like, I watched a lot of the offensive plays of the Florida Gators for this game. Like, is there a certain quarterback you would compare Trask to versus Mac Jones style to?
I hate player comps.
I love player comps, and they're never right 100%, so don't feel like it's like the whatever.
The reason why the reason why I hate player comps is because, like, I will always say a player, and I immediately second guess myself of like.
You saw me right there.
Like, I second guess myself, but then again, it's like about 6 times out of 10, then I'll check like NFL. Like, there was one story time 2 drafts ago. There was a running back, and I'm like watching him. I think it was the running back from Alabama. I did the video on him. It's on our channel. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, kind of reminds me of Jerome Bettis, like the way he just runs. And I was like, but that's an old player. Like, they're not gonna fucking like comp him. And yet again, NFL comped the guy to Jerome Bettis. But like, I'm gonna take your question and answer it a different way. The thing I like about Kyle Trask, and I almost wanted to say Big Ben, and the reason why I say that is he is 6'5", 239. Mac Jones is 6'2", 214. Like, Trask is someone in the pocket I see. He stands tall. He's got a bigger body. Like, he's got a little bit of a bigger body, but it's not a fat body. He's got broader shoulders. Yeah. Like, he just looks to me like one of those big, strong quarterbacks. Like, that would be me to where it's like, yet again, like, out of all the quarterbacks, you've got Lawrence is the tallest at 6'6", but he's 220. Wilson, 6'3", 210. Fields is 6'3", 228. Lance is 6'4", 226. Jones is 6'2", 214. Kyle Trask is the second tallest at 6'5", the biggest.
But a little heavier.
Yeah, of 239. And yet again, does he maybe have to lean up, like not lean up, but maybe lift more weights in the NFL room, maybe kind of bulk up a little bit?
Yeah, you gotta cut, you know?
But I mean, that's the thing I like about him is how he stands in the pocket and what he looks like.
You get a little bit of Big Ben rub off him.
I do. And that is, yet again, more on look than on just play style alone.
Okay.
And maybe that plays into the fucking big arm that we see. Like JD says, super traditional. And maybe that's why, like, I feel like he would fit in most teams and most of their schemes. It's just like, that's why I like him. I think if there's a fifth quarterback, it's him. He'll be drafted at 32. Somebody's trading up for him. The Chiefs will most likely trade that pick if a team wants him. But let's move on. I've got a couple more things here. Wide receivers. I'm going to list all the ones he has. We don't have to go over every one of them. He's got Smith at 3, Chase at 7, Waddle at 17, Bateman at 18, Elijah Moore, not Moore from Purdue, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss at 20, Olave, hope I'm saying that right, 25, and Marshall Jr. at 31. That won't happen because the Packers never draft a wide receiver. Is it weird to you that he has, 7 wide receivers in the first round? Like, to me, I looked at this and I went, maybe 5. Like,
I mean,
I'm thinking 5, but like,
I feel like last year we had a fantastic class of wide receivers, and we didn't have 7 go in the first round.
I'm a double check.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to remember. I'm like,
because there was Jerry Jeudy, Lamb, Jeudy, Rager,
Joan Rigor.
So we had, let's see, scrolling down. So Henry Ruggs was the first at 12.
Yep.
Jerry Jeudy was at 15.
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb was 17.
Yep.
Jalen Rager at 21. Justin Jefferson, JJ, at 22.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk at 25. And then just outside the first round, T. Higgins at 33. He was the first pick of the second round.
So six first rounders went to wide receivers. And how would you compare the classes? Because I think that a lot of people looking at last year's group thought that was going to be one of the most impressive wide receiver classes. And this year, you're talking about like the top 3 guys, basically. If we had a healthy, and we'll wait until the championship game because we could see a healthy game. I think the top 3 in this class might be better than the top 3 of last year's. Even.
Yeah, I mean, for me, though, it comes down to the bottom of the draft order. It doesn't even come down to the players because, I feel like for me right now, for me, I would say I like Chase number 1, Devonta Smith 2, Waddle 3, but Waddle can jump if he plays well on Monday, has a good combine and everything. I like Bateman. I think he's going to be a good deep ball threat. And then after that, because the teams that I could see going wide receiver, the Jets could at 2, but also the Jets could do it at 27 because they have the Seattle pick.
Yeah, it's very true.
I think the Eagles would be dumb. Yeah, the Eagles would be dumb not to take one. So
they better take. If they don't take one in the first round, they better take 2 by the 4th round.
Yeah, they need one. Like, I did the fact of Deshaun Watson in 2 seasons has played 8 games, Dave. Last 2 seasons, and Alshon has played 17 in the last 2 seasons. And those are your top 2 wide receivers.
You said Deshaun Watson, by the way?
Deshaun Jackson. That's what I meant. Thank you.
And he's a washed-up Deshaun Jackson. I'm just going to toss that out there, too.
Yeah, I mean, had some good plays, but yet again, he has passed.
He's over the hill.
Yeah.
As far as a speed receiver.
But, like, I see Jets, Dolphins, Eagles, maybe the Lions, depending on if they trade up for a quarterback or not. Let's see.
Jake, as long as they don't draft
the Bears,
someone who drops the ball every other pass like Nelson Aguilar, I think they'll be okay taking a wide receiver here.
To me, it's just everyone after the Bears. I feel like the Bears are the last team we could see a wide receiver. And then after that,
he's not good. He's just less publicly hated.
What? You're talking about?
He said Nelson Aguilar is good now. And I'm like, he's not good. He's just less publicly hated.
He got better. He
did have a better quarterback down there, but whatever.
Oh, shit. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to say that name right. Beratim for the $200 donation.
Wait, seriously?
Thank you. Yeah, we got a $200 donation. That is real. Thank you.
Is that real?
Thank you, Beratimbre. I hope I'm saying that right. The big old 3-4.
I don't think that's real.
Fuck it. I'm gonna say thank you. It says donate for 200. Thanks. Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not real.
Is it not? Okay, fuck it. Who gives a shit?
I'm going off of Jake Trash here, but that seems very, very.
If it is, if it's not, fucking thank you. If it's real, that's all I'm gonna say, Dave. If it's real, thank you. I I will say, though, Jake, wide receiver aside, the point being is after the Bears at 20, who is actually going to go wide receiver? Like, are the Colts going to go wide receiver? Are the Jets going to go Sewell? Let's say they don't trade. Do they go with the offensive tackle and go Sewell at 2? So then basically at 27, they go with wide receiver. Then at, 31, the Packers, do they go with wide receiver? It's like, how many of those teams that are in the playoffs right now, that's the question. How many of them are going to go with wide receiver, Dave? That's to me where it's like, is it 5 or is it 7? Dave, I get it. We're going to move on from it. We're going to move on from it. I see you with that fucking goddamn smirk. Jake's being a little asshole too. We're going to move on with the show, Dave. We're going to move on. We're not going to let it hurdle us.
Okay.
So I made a point. You weren't listening, though. That's the
Not
problem.
even a word.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the big problem. I'll reiterate for the 3rd time now. There
are other teams you think at the back end of the draft aren't going to take wide receivers because they don't need wide receivers. So you're like, how are they going to take so many wide receivers? And my answer is, I don't give a fuck.
You were listening. Okay. Like, I mean,
the word's hit, but like, I don't really care about the specifics of the question because, in all honesty, it doesn't matter if they go in the 1st round or the 2nd round. Those wide receivers are still at the top of their own draft class, respectively.
It just pertains to the question of, like we said,
will 7 go in the first round? No. I will put down money. You're a gambling man now, Ricky, I hear. So I will put down money. Are you willing to put down money that 7 will go in the first round?
I would take the under.
Name me the last time that 7 wide receivers went in the first round of a draft.
I would take the under.
I would also take the under.
Yeah, I would take the under on that.
I think that's a safe bet. I like 4, maybe 5 tops. Mm-hmm. I do not think 7.
We'll move on then, Dave. Is running backs is the next thing where I feel like Todd McShay had a spicy one here because I do think Etienne and Harris are first round running backs.
I don't know.
Etienne
running back value in the first round, Ricky.
Etienne though to the Cardinals. That to me, like Etienne to the Cardinals, Harris to the Steelers. Both of these for me were like, oh shit. Because because to me the Steelers, does that mean like if the Steelers take Najee Harris, does that mean you're giving up on basically Connor and Benny Snell, even though Connor's your number 1?
They don't want to pay. I thought that was the answer.
And with the Cardinals, would you go with Etienne over what may be a way bigger need in cornerback? Because this is a team that, depending on free agency, may have 5 cornerbacks who are no longer on the roster, and one of them may be Patrick Patterson if they don't decide to pay him.
We got to wait and see on that one. Yeah. I'm hoping they decide to pay him. He deserves the dollars. But
also they do have Kenyon Drake. Like they're a team that
Kenyon Drake's good, low key good.
But Etienne will be better.
Etienne would be better. I don't know about first round running backs. I might be backing that unless they're transcendent talent. Mm-hmm. Probably not worth a first. I think that both these guys have 2nd round talent. I don't think either one of them is transcendent. I don't think either one of them is going to be a Christian McCaffrey level talent, a Saquon Barkley level talent. Okay. I mean, look at Zeke Elliott. Who the fuck thinks that he's a 1st round talent at this point?
Well, I mean, he was. Like I'm saying, like before the season.
2 years. He had 2 years of his career.
He had more. Where
he looked like he was 2 years of his career where he looked like a 1st round talent. Mm-hmm. After that, nope.
But
looking back at him, what would his worth be?
I would still say as a first. I would still say as a top 10, and the reason why is the reason that he has struggled with the Cowboys is not on himself because even in 2019 he was a 1,000-yard rusher.
They have the best offensive line in football for the last fucking decade. Bingo. You could put you back there and you'd average over 4 yards a carry, Ricky.
That's the point.
He walked out of the fucking backfield. That's my point. You don't need Ezekiel Elliott when you have that level of talent on the offensive line. You could get 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, though, and this goes into, in order for running backs to be successful, you have to have a good offensive line. You have to have one that creates the holes. The thing, though, that I like
you have a transcendent talent a la Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Neither of these guys are Saquon. But the thing that I find interesting that I like more about Etienne is what he can do in the passing game. I like if the Cardinals made that pick, I would like it. I just don't know if I would go there. Like, to me,
I mean, their option game would be insane. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
The RPOs,
Kyler Murray,
Kyler with
ETN.
RPO to ETN. Good fucking. You got to cover them both. You got to tackle them both. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, and I mean Najee Harris, like,
that offense would get disgusting real quick.
The paying James Conner is like, yet again, that makes sense. Maybe I was looking at it and going like, they have Conner there, they have Snell there. I like it in the sense of he fits. Najee Harris would fit what Steeler football is all about. That black and blue, run it up the middle, tough, hard running back. The guy those are the runners that Mike Tomlin usually goes with. Even like Le'Veon did more of both. Le'Veon pass catch for 1,000 and then also ran for 1,000.
Le'Veon sure as fuck loves zone blocks out there for him. He loves to get outside and get some action. He's not a black and blue runner.
He ain't no Jerome Bettis out there.
No, he's not. So that's why I'm like, Tomlin might like it, but the offense sure as fuck loves guys who can get in space.
Yeah, I mean Eric hit where I would put ETN right on the nail.
The Jets, eh?
I would say with the Jets, a perfect draft for them would be either Sewell to, basically their first pick is either Sewell or trading back for a wide receiver, and then taking ETN at the late, because like they're a team that doesn't have a running back. Sam Darnold needs a good running back. ETN can do it on the ground or through the air. The other two are kind of just situational, Dave. The first one is Gregory Rousseau. Todd McShay does not have him as a top 10 pick. He has him going to the Giants at 11. I saw this, and it's like, Todd McShay, I respect the hell out of you because you know your football. But
with all due respect,
if Gregory Rousseau falls that far, somebody is getting the steal of the draft. Because I feel like the only reason Rousseau would fall that far is because people would basically go recency bias. Same thing Trey Lance is facing, where Rousseau didn't play this year because of COVID.
Correct.
And that's going to be a unique thing for this year, where even Micah Parsons didn't play. And you had like Penny Sewell didn't play, even though Sewell is probably going to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah, that man ain't budging a fucking inch.
When you're a top 3 when you're the top offensive tackle and you're that good, you don't need to fucking play. That
position is money.
I just look at it and I go, you're the top pass rusher in the class. You played well in 2019.
What is the knock on him? Like, did he write in his write-up? Is there any mention of why he's fallen, or is it just like, I'm on a run with exposition, that's why I don't think that he'll be taking that high?
I'm gonna assume, in my brain, I think quarterbacks will fuck it up. Yet again, who trades up for the quarterbacks?
QBs in the top 10? Is that your prediction? I don't want to spoil your mock, but
yeah, I would say it. Like Trey Lance, like it's gonna be Lawrence, Wilson, and Fields are the top 3 on the big board. They're the tier 1.
Yep.
Lance is tier 2 only because he only played the one showcase game, and then tier 2 with Lance or tier 3 is Trask and Mac Jones, and then the rest of the pool.
In the top 10, I mean, we got potentially 3 quarterbacks going, a top tight end going, a couple of offensive linemen, maybe 2 wide receivers. That's a very, very offensive heavy bunching of talent at the top of the draft.
The only thing he mentions that is not like a lot of it is specific to the Giants taking a pass rusher, which I don't give a shit here to answer your question. But he does say Rousseau opted out of this season, but he had 15.5 sacks in 2019 and has the speed and power coming around the corner. I just see that and I go, any team, like if the Falcons aren't going quarterback, like if they're not sitting at 4 going, hey, we need to take Fields or hey, we need to take Wilson, they would be straight stupid to not take Rousseau.
That's actually a great question. If they're both on the board, what do you value more for those teams?
I think for the Falcons, I would lean quarterback only because I feel like Matt Ryan's time is done. I think a new GM's going to come in and almost clean house per se. I think Julio's gone. I think Matt Ryan's gone. I think they're just going to basically move on. But like the Bengals too, they're a team where he has Rashawn Slater, good offensive tackle from Northwestern, who's been rising late in the season. But yet again, the Bengals are also a team, and I've had conversations with JD about this, where if they don't get Penny Sewell, do you necessarily have to go tackle this high? Because the tackle depth in the second and third round, tackle and wide receiver, I'm seeing the same thing, where there's some depth later in rounds 2 and 3 to where you can try to trade up in the second or trade up in the third to try to get a tackle and maybe go with a defenseman here, because the Bengals could go cornerback with Surtain, who's obviously the number 1 pick for cornerbacks, Parsons, Rousseau, or offensive tackle. I would take Rousseau over an offensive tackle. And then yet again, the Eagles wide receiver to me. The Lions could take a quarterback. So like that's the thing that fucks Rousseau to where I feel like he should be a top 5 pick or at least top 10. Okay. But he's going to be he could fall out of the top 10.
Jake saying high bust potential. What's the concern?
That he didn't play this year. That's what I would say. Is that we did like
Jake, if you when you catch up, can you just drop in chat what's the outside of him not playing this year? Is there the concern that he regressed, or he just had a pop off year because who he's playing next to?
Well, like Jake says, he has a very, very, very low floor. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like high bust is very low floor. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Very, very low. Yeah, Rousseau. Yep.
I would assume it's just like you don't if you don't think he's going to live up to his potential, but I do. He is someone.
It's funny because you mentioned Sewell didn't play, but there was no way he was dropping. Trevor Lawrence could have not played this year. There was no chance he was going to drop out of the number 1.
Yeah,
I figured Rousseau being a top 5 prospect from last year would have been in a similar case, and yet we got him going. And to be fair, Chase, right, technically was not going to play.
Yes,
for a good chunk.
He didn't play either.
Yeah. So, iffy on Rousseau from JD, now taking a tackle at 5 other than Sewell. Need Pitts, Chase, maybe Rousseau, maybe Surtain.
And then Jake, all of his strengths are built straight out of his body and athleticism. His handwork and feet work is rough, and it seems like he relies on his body a lot.
Athletic beast, but he needs to be refined. You need to kind of sculpt the game into something.
So it's basically and yet again, it's the entire, you're going against grown men, not boys. Like the whole thing of what we see with a lot of them. To where with me, maybe I overlooked that question because it's of course in the NFL you're gonna beef up, you're gonna that's the thing. As a pass rusher, the guys that have the strength to just bully through, Rousseau, then it's gonna be dependent on if your strength and athleticism can't do it alone. Are you going to develop different moves to get to the quarterback?
Yeah, and as long as you seem coachable, I mean, that's why you always like the raw guys. As long as their coach extremely positive about them, those are the guys you love to work with. Those are the guys who, hey, they're working to get better, but they're just so raw right now. But they're having that high level of success even with that. That's what I get excited about, that kind of player, Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. Where yes, Parsons, it's one of those things where there's also the debate of Parsons to Rousseau. But for me, Parsons isn't a bona fide, he's an edge rusher. That's all he does. He's more of, Jake has even said, more of a zone linebacker where Rousseau get after the quarterback.
He just one speed.
Yeah. The last thing with the draft is just the Eagles. I thought this was kind of asinine from, I say asinine because the player that the Eagles are getting in Micah Parsons is a really good prospect. But I look at the Eagles and I go, they are a team that I am yet again, if fucking on his draft, Chase is still on the board. Even Pitts is still on the board, although I would take the wide receiver. Fuck, even Jalen Waddle's on the board because he could rise. If I'm the Eagles, Dave, I don't care if Parsons is there. I'm taking a wide receiver.
Unless you have a handshake deal.
Unless you get Aaron Robinson.
That's what I was going to say, like free agencies before.
Yeah.
Love football for that.
I think it's better that way, to be honest with you.
There are ups and downs to it. But yeah, unless you have already signed Allen Robinson, I don't know how you can not take a wide receiver off the bat because it is clearly your biggest issue this season. They're going to get back 2 offensive linemen who got hurt this year, so they should be good. Maybe there's still a need there, but like Parsons, good player, no doubt in my mind. He's a top 10 talent.
Yeah.
But you have to address wide receiver if you expect anything to happen going forward, because I think they're also going to end up probably losing Ertz too, right?
See,
I heard he's gone.
Here's the thing, and like Kyle Pitts would be the bona fide starter there. But the debate I had in my mind is, would you rather have someone like Chase or Waddle boost up that wide receiver core? Yeah. And basically they have Dallas Goedert at tight end.
Yeah, like, Goddard's not bad.
Yeah, but he's not Kyle Pitts.
I think Pitts is better than him, no doubt.
He's not Kyle Pitts.
But I agree. I'm taking whichever wide receiver's highest on my board. If I'm the Eagles, I cannot pass up on a top wide receiver in this class. Can't do it, won't do it.
And Jake,
would you trade back if you were them though? If you were, okay,
I'm taking the best wide receiver.
Just to flatten. No,
because like here's the thing. Like I ain't yet again with wide receiver tiers. It's Smith, Chase, and Waddle.
Yeah,
and then there's a gap. Like those are the top 3 in the class. And I know Jake says you take Chase or Smith. The only reason I'm leaving Smith off is Todd McShay had Smith going at number 3, so he wasn't there. It would basically be Micah Parsons would probably be BPA. Chase would be right there also with BPA and need. But you also have Pitts and Waddle there too. Oh, fuck off, Jake. That's not being dumb. The Dolphins need a wide receiver. I actually like that pick. With the Dolphins going with a wide receiver, and I can talk to you that way because we have a solid relationship. But yeah, that's just I can't wait for mine to come out. I loved doing the mock draft. I can't wait to see how free agents go. Well, the feedback will be interesting. It always is, Dave. Can't wait to do the next one after the entire 32 order is done, because I'll do one the night after the Super Bowl. Jake, he had Fields at 15, but like you said, someone will probably trade up for him because he didn't do trades in his mock. But